I'm Hannah Horner. I'm representing the Southampton school number 3. And we're doing a hybrid schedule, but it's not really like we're in a few days a week. It's either fully in person or fully remote. I'm personally doing fully in person, but I know a lot of people that have also benefited from doing the remote schedule.
My name is Kata Mikulski, and I'm representing Harrington Middle School in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. We have there's students that could go in as hybrid, but I'm choosing to do fully remote.
I attend Nina's school in Medford Lakes, and we do hybrid, but if you're remote, you're fully remote, and if you're in person, you go 5 days a week.
Hi, my name is Danielle Katsaras. I'm representing Marlton Middle School from the Evesham Township District. I'm in cohort A, which means I go in Monday, Tuesday in school and remote for 3 days a week. We do a remote Wednesday, which is a half day where everyone is online, including the cohort R students, which are all online, and the people who are in school for 4 days a week.
Morgan Renson. I'm representing Walnut Street Middle School. It's part of the Delenco Township School District. We have the choice for hybrid or fully virtual. I'm doing hybrid, so I go on Mondays and Thursdays. The other cohort goes on Tuesdays and Fridays. Every day is a half day and no one goes on Wednesdays. In the first marking period, we were fully virtual. We had no choice of hybrid, but now we do.
Stephen Willie of DeMacy Middle School from Marlton, New Jersey. DeMacy offers all three. They offer in-person, fully remote, and hybrid learning. I personally have been doing hybrid learning, and I've just transferred into full in-person.
In my school, when we were in person normally, we would have a lot of labs in science, and it was great because it was always hands-on and it was a great way of learning. That's definitely harder to do from home, and math was definitely more difficult, especially since you're writing it on paper, and it's definitely hard to find things online that will teach you math. So my teacher was great for that.
The hardest adjustment for me was being alone most of the time. I missed the social interaction that we used to get.
I find it a lot more difficult to communicate with everyone, especially teachers, and it's always less fun if you can't speak with your friends during school and have lunch, etc.
There's not as many small conversations. Like sometimes in the morning you could go to a teacher and you can talk about your weekend or even like a hard class that's going on. And those small conversations, they really help start your day off well. And we don't have as much as that because you don't really talk when you're online as much. So the small conversations.
My school would host a dance every single month, and the student council, which I'm a part of, would sponsor some of them. And it's been not really hard, but it's been a little bit demoralizing not really being able to participate or partake in any of like the planning that would go into the dances, because it was a lot of fun to see the whole school in one place just enjoying each other's company.
This adjustment for me is being able to socialize with classmates. Since being fully online, I never got to meet any of the people in my class, so.
I think a good positive to this is there's a lot more responsibility that you have to take. And I think that's actually a good thing because with all the different schedules and more things you have to study for and other assignments that you have to look out for, you can't always have that teacher reminding you to turn it in or to start doing your work. And it's a lot of just kind of, there's a lot more responsibility. And I think that's a good thing for your future.
A positive adjustment for me was that when I was going to school without COVID, when I got home, I didn't really want to do my work. But now that I'm online, I feel like once I get done all my classes, I want to get done all that work so I don't have to do it later.
Hannah?
A little bit less school related, but while we were doing while we were experiencing the lockdown, my dance studio had to shut down, and we really couldn't dance. A lot of people either just didn't have the right equipment or weren't a whole lot of opportunities to do so. I was really proud of myself because I sort of found and sought out opportunities for myself and danced with some really good companies and made a lot of improvement over the course of the summer. And I feel like it taught me how to make my own opportunities if there aren't any presented to me. And that's a lesson that could be applied to life in general.
For the amount of independence that we get, because usually, mainly when we were full in person before COVID, we would have to turn in assignments with it before the end of the day or at the end of the period. But now we have to sort of take responsibility and take charge of our assignments, trying to get them done, manage our time better throughout the entire day.
Morgan?
This is less school related and more personal, but I found that there seemed to be more time in the day for me. So I've basically been going on walks pretty much every day. And I took on more hobbies like painting, which I found that I really love to do.
I think that not only just for me, for a lot of students, communicating with our teachers was definitely harder to do online because we were doing it so much more. If we had a question, we had to email them or have a private Zoom with them. And normally we could just go to talk to them in class. I have friends that are both online and fully in person. And my friends that are online are doing really well because they've developed a routine that's good for them. And my friends that are in school is about the same because it's more of our normal way of life. And I think that a big thing with this pandemic was a lot of kids fell into depression and had a lot of anxiety, which is why I think school is good because it brought back socialization for many students.
My classmates are handling it very well, I feel like, because a lot of the rules are kind of giving them standard time to do things and a lot of rules, which can be good and bad, but I think they're handling it well.
Yeah, I think that my classmates are handling it well. I mean, I know that this pandemic has brought on more challenges. Like I know some kids have a really loud background when they're doing school from home, and I'm sure that can't be easy. But I think that considering, they're doing really well.
A lot of my friends, both in and out of school, and the general consensus is that people, yeah, they're doing fairly well, and some enjoy more remote learning and some don't. But generally, people are doing quite well with COVID learning.
A lot of my classmates are doing really well. I mean, there's a couple of students that they're going through some tough times, so it's harder for them to focus on school. But I feel like generally they're doing really well.
I feel like for my friend group, at least, it's a bit of mixed results because we can only be fully in person or fully online. I know some people that because they're kept at home for medical reasons, they would rather be in school. And so being online can be a little bit isolating for them. But I also know others who love it because, again, they can make their own routine and sort of work at their own pace, which I think is awesome. But overall, I think everyone's handling it fairly well.
My orchestra teacher, Miss Sarah Smith, she what she does is she edits recordings that are submitted by students into videos of like a de facto concert, and she's been doing that since last spring, and every time it's gone quite well, and they're very enjoyable to watch.
That really stood out to me, especially last year when this all started, was my social studies teacher. He is older, so when the world fully shut down, it was harder for him with the technology. But now he's doing great. We always see him on Zooms and everything, and I feel like he really stood out to me because he took on that challenge.
The teacher that stood out to me the most was my language arts teacher, Mr. Chip. Not just when we were online, but even in class. I'm someone that stresses out and overthinks a lot. I don't know if you could tell, but he just sort of relaxed me, and I feel like I still got stuff out of his classes, but he was someone that made learning fun. And even when COVID hit, he was one of the teachers that was right on top of his stuff from day one. He was one of our only teachers that held Zoom meetings like daily or a little bit later, more weekly. But he was just very on top of his stuff, and it was very impressive considering the fact that basically they had no time to prepare. And from 8th grade, my math teacher, Mrs. Glodek, has really stood out to me because, again, there's no time to prepare for any of this. And I know all of the teachers have undergone a lot, but especially when we were picking classes for 9th grade, she really stood out to me because she kind of took charge of the whole process. And because it was all online this year, which had never been done before, she made a Google Classroom, put every kid in the grade in it, and made folders for everything that needed to get done. And it just really feels like she's had our best interests at heart since it all started, and has just taken the challenge head on.
Grade algebra teacher, Mrs. O'Brien, has been really awesome. She's so quick at getting back to you through email. If you need extra help, she sets up a private Zoom or will meet with you in class. She's great at making algebra fun, and I know that sounds crazy, but she's so awesome. I really do love her. She's one of my favorite teachers.
I think that it's a tough question because I mean, all the teachers and staff members have been like fantastic and supportive. If I had to pick one though, I'd say my ELA teacher because she's always super happy and nice, and you can really tell that she gives it her all so that we can succeed.
I feel my 8th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Thomas, really stood out to me because he is always giving us more and more videos to watch. And I think that's amazing because the videos are very helpful, especially because afterwards he talks about them and he goes over them. And if we have any questions, he will answer for us. So he presents the videos and then he just talks to us. And there's a lot of conversation in his class, which in history is very helpful because there's a lot of questions and there's mainly facts, and he just makes it fun. So he has managed everything very well, and he did videos already even before COVID-19. So it kind of worked well for him, but he also had a lot of projects in the past. So now he just does group work, even online, and somehow it works. I don't really know how, but he does it, and it's a really fun class.
Probably the most important thing for me is that I just want my teachers to know that I'm really passionate about learning. As crazy as it sounds, I'm really passionate about it, and I want to be in a classroom that reciprocates that energy, which I feel like is sometimes lacking a little bit, but I hope will get better as we go into more leveled classes.
When I go to high school, I think it would be great if my teachers understood if something got turned in late, because going into high school is a lot of change. There's new rules to follow. And if you were in school, the building can get very confusing. And for anyone going into high school, they have a lot on their schedules, whether it's sports or if you're having trouble at home or even just confusing classes. If they are very understanding of anything that we might mess up on, or at least in the beginning of the year, I think that would be really nice.
My future teachers to know that I'm a very hardworking, caring, and positive person. I always want to look at the positive side and try not to look at the negative side.
Like for them to understand that it's all new to us, like being able to pick our own classes. The school is obviously a lot larger. There's quite a few differences between middle school and high school, and I would prefer for them to be understanding and transparent with us.
To be honest, I can't really think of anything. I think I'm prepared for high school.
The biggest adjustment for me will be that the high school is very big and my school district is very small. I come from a graduating class of only 75 kids. So it's definitely going to be a huge adjustment, and that I am very determined and I like to be challenged.
like to get better at cello and playing soccer. I would also hope to get into UPenn, which is the college I try to strive to get in. And as for career, I prefer to get some sort of science career, whether it be medicine, chemistry, one of those science careers I prefer.
I'd like to continue getting great grades. I'd like to go to college, major in architect and design, and maybe start my own business.
In my future, I want to continue learning more and more Spanish because I've always considered language very, very interesting. So I hope to go all the way up to Spanish 5 and be fluent in the language and maybe even learn Greek. And as for my career, I want to be a special education teacher because I've always loved what they do, and working with special needs kids is very fun and it makes you feel amazing. So I think that if that could be a career, which it is, I would definitely want to do that.
I really would like to be challenged in high school and do well, and then go on to college. And I really would like to get into the medical field because I really would like to help people and save people's lives.
I would like in the future, I want to be really successful. I want to go to a good college and maybe doing the University of Chapel Hill in North Carolina. I want to succeed in soccer because I played that forever. And as my career, I would want to go into animal medicine to study animals.
I'm a little bit all over the place with what I want to do in terms of careers. I have a lot of areas I would like to pursue. So I'm not really sure where I want to go with that yet, or even where I would want to go to college. But recently I've started looking into private high schools, and I actually applied to a few. Again, kind of just going along with, keeping my options open, forging my own path. And I actually get my decisions this Wednesday, which is crazy. It's so exciting. My nerves are sky high, but I really just want to make the best for myself and see what I can do for the world and see where it takes me.